Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to do a little bit of a flow and we're going to continue with attempting to get a little bit of more space and length in our spine. So today we're going to add in a few gentle twists, and I encourage you to only take the twists to where you feel comfortable. Don't overdo these twists, especially if you've been sitting for a long period of time, these past days, weeks, months, coming up on a year. So if you notice that you can't quite go as far as you used to before, that's okay. Don't push these twists. Go into them gently and slowly coax out a little bit more space in your spine. You'll have an opportunity to um, get to these twists more than once. So if your first one is a very small and shallow movement, that's okay. You're going to have an opportunity to do the twist again and see if maybe you can uh, comfortably get a little bit more out of that spine. Also today we're going to have an opportunity to possibly add in a vinyasa or two if you would like. So hopefully you've had a chance to put a modification together that suits you in terms of your vinyasa. And again, you do not need to add the vinyasa into your flow at all today. You can rest in either downward dog. You can even rest in plank if that's maybe where you're at. You can rest in child's pose. You don't have to add these vinyasas in, but I'll give you an opportunity to put them in if you're feeling that you're up to it. So I encourage you to get into your comfortable space. What shape, what pose do you want to start your practice in? Is it in your traditional Shavasana on the back? Is it in a sit position? I'm going to start in a sit position. And if you're making your way down to your back, slowly start making your way to that. And as you're making your way down to your back, make sure that you are finding the comfortable space. Do you need some extra props to help you get comfortable? Which leg position are you going to choose if you're in Shavasana? What arm position is the best suited? And if you've chosen another position other than Shavasana, see if again you can get as comfortable as you possibly can. And let's just start to settle in. Start to try to relax the body. Notice how you feel. What have you brought to your practice at this moment? Is it the same feeling that you brought last time you came to the mat? Is it something completely different? Regardless of what it is, just do your best to see if you can soften somewhere. And just pick one space that's a little tight and see if you can soften just that one little space. Don't make your task so impossible to accomplish that you set yourself up for failure. We don't want to feel bad after our practice. We want to feel good. We want to feel better. So if we make these little tasks attainable and doable, it's a very quick and easy way to feel a little bit better. So as you've had a few breaths here, just start to notice what you notice. There's not a correct or incorrect answer here. It's just information that you can take in. And as you breathe, taking those inhales and exhales, notice how you are taking those breaths in and out. Is it through your nose? Is it through your mouth? What do you need right now? It doesn't matter if it's the same as last time or if it needs to be different. What do you need right now to get a little bit more comfortable? We'll take about 5 breaths here. Don't worry if you're taking more or less than those 5 breaths. Allow your breath to come in and out at its own pace for you at this moment. Softening the body, preparing it for a little bit of movement. One more cycle of breath here. A gentle inhale and an exhale. Slowly start to move your body in those small and gentle ways. And what are the ways that you need right now? Is it in the ankles and wrists? Do you need something a little bit different? Knowing that each time you come to your mat, your body is going to ask something different from you. And the trick is to actually honor what it's asking you and trying not to force what you think it should be. As you gently incorporate some more movement, if you are on your back, you're going to gently and slowly make your way up into a sit, and then work through your sit position to get into tabletop. If you're in a sit position to start with, make your way over to your tabletop. And again, our tabletop is hands and knees. Try to have your hands underneath the shoulders. And try to have your knees underneath the hips as best as you can. Try to find that comfortable hand position. Try to find the comfortable foot position. Do you need the extra prop underneath your knees to be a little bit more comfortable? Or are you okay right on your knees, on your particular mat, on your particular surface? Roll the shoulders back, open up the collarbone, and with your inhale, extend that left leg back behind you. Try to have the toes flexed down towards the floor. Try to keep that rectangle of your torso parallel with the floor. And just hold your foot here, levitating in the air. And it matters not if it's 1 or 2 millimeters off the floor, or if it's a little bit closer to hip height. Where can you find comfort? You need a little bit of engagement to hold the leg up. So where is it comfortable for you to hold that leg? Notice the sensations in the rest of your body. Notice what needs to work simply to hold that leg up in the air. Continue breathing, don't hold your breath. Take one more inhale, and then with your exhale, drop that knee back down to the floor. Take those little wiggle jiggles, those little movements that you need to maybe release any tension that you created with simply extending that leg. For some of us, maybe that was already difficult. For others, maybe it wasn't quite enough. Don't worry, we'll add a little bit more. Coming back to our tabletop, again, preparing that collarbone, opening it up, engaging the arms, and with your inhale, extend the right leg back behind you. Have that leg engaged. Toes are aiming down towards the floor as best as you can. If you'd like, you can even sneak a peek down underneath your belly. And if you can see your toes, are they facing down or are they facing out to the side? See if you can face the toes down as best as you can. Is that rectangle of your torso still parallel? Or are you leaning a little bit to one side? See if you can even it out. And again, doing the best you can to keep that nice, smooth, easy breath. On this side, do you notice, is your foot maybe a little closer to the floor? Is it easier to hold this leg up at hip height? Just notice your engagement and find what's comfortable for you. Continue breathing. Try not to allow the shoulders to collapse. And as you breathe, just notice what you notice. What part of the body is engaging? Do you need to make an adjustment? Do you need to take a break, or can you hold on for 2 more breaths? What is your cycle of breath now? Has it sped up? Has it slowed down? And then with your exhale, drop the knee back down to the floor. Take that little wiggle jiggle if you need. Maybe you'd even like to sit back into your child's pose. Maybe you just want to take a little bit of weight out of the hands because that's where you need a little bit of break. What do you need right now? Take a breath or 2 here just to relax a little bit. And then we're going to go back into tabletop. Set yourself up once again. Hands, shoulders, knees, hips, neutral spine, open collarbone. Take that inhale, extend that left leg back. Keep the toes flexed. And this time with your exhale, gently move that leg out to the left. So I'm only moving it out to the side as far as I can while still keeping the rectangle of my torso parallel with the floor. So maybe your leg went out 1 centimeter. Maybe it went out a few inches. Keep the toes flexed down to the floor and just notice what you notice in your glute, hip, belly area, shoulder area. What do you feel? 1 more cycle of breath here if you can. An inhale, an exhale. Inhale to straighten the leg, and then exhale, knee to floor. Do you need movement? What do you need right here to take a little breath before we go to the other side? Just a short little break. Back to tabletop, set yourself up. Extend that right leg back behind you, that's your inhale. And with your exhale, heel out to the side. Keep the right toes flexed down towards the floor. And only extend that leg out to the side as far as you can while still keeping that rectangle parallel with the floor. Do you notice on this side? Is it further out? Is it closer? Are you shifting the weight into one arm? Try to keep them in both arms even. Do you notice some engagement in your belly? Glute, hip, knee, shoulders, neck? Where do you feel it? Is the breath still smooth or is it already becoming choppy? Do the best you can, smooth it out. Inhale to straighten that leg back behind you, and then with your exhale, drop that knee down to the floor, and we'll all take a little bit of a child's pose here. So as your glutes sit back down to your heels, notice, do you want a closed knee? Do you want a wider knee, child's pose? What is going to work for you at this moment? As you catch your breath and let go of the engagement that you just did. Whether that engagement was a little bit or already it was a lot for you. That's the whole beauty, depending on where you are. Maybe that was just a little bit of a preview of what your glutes are going to do, what your spine is going to do. So it's all information that your body is processing right now. Yeah? And it's all good information. Sometimes we think it's bad information, but that information is good for us. So one more cycle of breath where you are at. And then come back into that tabletop. Tuck the toes under. Open the collarbone with that inhale. And with your exhale, come up into a quick down dog. And again, keep those knees relatively bent here, just to see our first spinal extension. See what your spine is telling you right now. Do you notice that you're feeling a little jammed and it's a very shallow and short downward dog? Or do you notice that you can actually get a little bit more length in that spine? Don't force it. You're going to have an opportunity to come back into another downward dog to see if you can lengthen a little bit more. Finish your exhale. And then with your inhale, baby step those feet forward. We're going to take a first very easy one, forward fold. As you're in your forward fold, again, investigate how the backs of the legs feel. Investigate how your lower back feels. Feel the back. Is this forward fold a little bit on the shallow side? Probably, because it might be your first one. And just allow that spine to kind of lengthen out. Gently, nothing too harsh, nothing too forceful. Take an inhale to come up into your tabletop. Extend those legs if they were bent, just to get a little bit of stretch in those hamstrings. And then as you exhale, hands to the floor. I'm going to inhale my left leg back, and I'm going to drop down into my low lunge. And once again, adjust the foot if you need to be a little bit more comfortable. Is the back knee comfortable? Take an inhale to lift the torso. And then if you feel inclined, lift the arms. So again, notice the shoulders. Notice where your arms are reaching. Where are they comfortable? Do they need to be possibly a little wider? What's comfortable for you? Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, bend at the elbows and bring the arms to cactus. So our elbows are in line with our shoulders. We're trying to keep our hips forward. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, twist gently to the right, towards the front bent knee. Try to keep those elbows at shoulder height, and only go as far as you are comfortable. Watch your balance, and watch your breath. Inhale, come back to the center. Extend the arms long up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, frame the front foot. Lift the back knee, step forward to your forward fold, and just notice what you notice here. Notice the difference between one leg to the other, one hip to the other. Is your forward fold exactly the same as it was just a few moments ago? Or is it a little different? Take a full cycle of breath here. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, fold. And come up to a standing position just to relax. Arms can reach up to the sky if it's comfortable for you. And then bring the hands down through heart center into mountain pose. Readjust the weight, shift where you need to shift. Find a nice, comfortable mountain pose. Come to stillness, and with your inhale, reach the spine, reach the arms long, and as you exhale, fold forward. Flat back is your inhale. As you exhale, fingertips to the floor. Inhale the right leg back behind you, low lunge on this side. Make your adjustments before you lift the torso. Inhale the torso up, maybe the arms come up. And with your exhale, cactus arms. Take a breath here to lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, gently turn, twist to the left. Try to keep those elbows in line with your shoulders. Avoid having one arm reach way more than the other. And again, gently twist as far as you are comfortable. What does your spine tell you right now? Is it the same as the last time? Is it maybe a little different? Both answers are correct. Just what is it at this side? Take an inhale to untwist the torso. Reach the arms up, lengthen the spine, and then as you exhale, frame the front foot. Lift that back knee, and you might need to make a slight adjustment here because we're stepping back to our down dog. So bring that left leg back to your down dog. And here, you can stay right here and work on lengthening your spine. Or if you'd like, we can add our first vinyasa. You can stay here or come along with me for a modified vinyasa. I'm coming forward to my plank. I'm going to go half plank. Exhale to lower yourself down all the way. Inhale into your back bend. And then exhale, I'm going through plank up into downward facing dog. And we're going to stay in downward facing dog for about 3 more breaths. So notice if you need a break already. Do you need a child's pose? Maybe you pushed yourself in that first vinyasa a little bit too far, and your breath is already telling you, oh, whew, what was all of that? Take inventory of what your body is telling you. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. Come to downward facing dog if you're not there already. Finish your exhale, and again with your inhale, baby step those feet forward. Do you notice that this forward fold is a little different? Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a standing position and make your way to mountain pose. And as you gently and slowly make your way into mountain pose, notice what you notice. Do you need to shift your weight? Do you notice that one side is a little lazy and you're hanging into one hip? Take the movement that you need to even it out. Nice and easy, nice and gentle. Find your mountain pose. We're going to add in just a little bit of balance. So from your mountain pose, your hands can be down by the side or they can be on your hips. What is going to work best for you to shift the weight into your right foot. Try not to dump all the weight into your right hip. But lift that left knee and see if you can get your thigh parallel with the floor. You might notice that it has to be a little lower. You might notice that even the toe has to touch the floor because your balance is a little off today. Where can you be and still be comfortable? Still be able to breathe. One more full cycle of breath here. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, take that left leg, take it back behind you, and get into your high lunge position. Do you need to make any adjustments? Did you step back into the perfect spot? Or do you need to maybe move that foot a little bit? Once you've established your legs, inhale the arms up towards the sky, high crescent lunge. Exhale, bend at the elbows. Take a breath here to prepare. And once again, take an exhale to turn to the right, towards that right bent knee. Try to keep the hips facing forward. Try to keep the elbows at shoulder height. Inhale to come back towards the center. Keep those arms there. Keep the hips facing forward. And with your exhale, now twist to the left. Try to keep those hips forward. Don't twist into your hip. So you're going to notice that probably this side is a little bit more difficult. Do the best you can to use your fingers to brace yourself. Use your core to brace. Use your legs to brace. Inhale, straighten the torso, reach the arms long up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, frame the front foot. Now, are you stepping back to down dog? Or maybe you want to step back to plank. Maybe you just want to hold plank here. Maybe you're holding downward facing dog. Maybe you want to come along with me into a modified vinyasa. I'm going with my knees down. And then as I exhale, I'm coming down and forward. I'm taking the inhale to go into my back bend. What do I need? What do I feel today? And then pike up through tabletop, through plank, into your downward facing dog. And again, notice, do you need those bent knees? It's not a problem. We're looking for spine lengthening here. Check in with your breath. Maybe you need a child's pose. Maybe your breath is telling you, I need a break. 2 more cycles of breath here. Finding your modification, your shape. What is working best for you right now? Finish your exhale. And with your inhale, baby step those feet forward. Once again, notice the differences between each time we walk our feet forward. Inhale up to the flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a standing position. You choose your arms. And we're coming to mountain pose. You make your way there. How is best suited for you? Once you're in mountain pose, notice again, what do you need? Do you need shifting? Do you need an adjustment? Do you need to change where your feet are? Maybe you need to fix your clothes. Maybe you need to fix your hair because your hair is in the middle of your face and you can't see anything. All of those things, they seem so silly, but if you can't see what you're doing because of your hair, then you probably need to move it. And And then come to stillness at mountain pose again. Choose your hands by your side, on your hips, maybe even prayer hands. Maybe that's going to suit you best. Shift the weight into that left foot a little bit more. And again, watch that you're not dumping all the weight into the left hip. Try to keep that hip above the knee, above the foot, as best as you can. You're going to shift a little bit of weight, sure, no problem. But what do you need? To lift that right leg up. On this side, maybe your balance is not as good. Maybe the toe has to tap. Maybe this side, you can easily lift that thigh to have it parallel with the floor. Try not to lean back. Try to have those shoulders still stacked over the hips as best as you can. It's not going to be perfect, but do what you can to make it as perfect as you can right at this moment. Are you still breathing? Don't hold your breath. Is your core working? Are your legs working? And with your next inhale, step that right foot back behind you. You're going into that lunge. So maybe you notice you dropped your foot down, but it's not quite your perfect lunge position. Maybe you need to readjust. Maybe you notice that, oh, I took a step back and it's way too hard and I'm losing my balance. Establish those legs. Get nice and sturdy in those legs. And then when you're sturdy, inhale, arms reach up. Lengthen that spine. And with the exhale, cactus arms again. Try not to flare those ribs. Keep those ribs in. Take a breath to lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, turn to your left, towards that front knee. And as you turn, do you notice that, uh-oh, my balance is not so good here? Or are you pretty sturdy on those legs? Do the best you can to find your maximum twist for this moment. Are you still breathing? Are the arms in their optimal position? Inhale, untwist the spine, keep those arms. And then with your exhale, turn to your right. So now the twist is probably a little bit more difficult. Keep those hips facing forward and do the best you can to turn to your right. So you're going to notice that those hips want to kind of move in an uneven manner. See if those hips can still stay level. Notice where you notice. Do you notice your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, your back leg? What do you notice here as maybe you lose your balance? Inhale to untwist. Reach those arms up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, frame the front foot. We're stepping back. Are we going back to down dog? Is it plank for you? Are you holding here? Maybe you're going to child's pose. I'm going to go for one more vinyasa. Am I going to go knees down? I'm going to try full plank. Let's see how it goes. As I exhale, forward and down. Inhale, your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. And as you're in downward facing dog, just take a little bit of an inventory. Do I have one last little bit of energy? If the answer is yes, we are going to do one more vinyasa. If the answer is no, you are going to either choose waiting in down dog, waiting in plank, or maybe waiting in child's pose. But let's see if we can get one last vinyasa in, any modification, any variation that you've got. Finish your exhale. Inhale yourself forward to your plank, whichever version that is. Exhale to lower yourself down. Inhale into your back bend. And as you exhale, make your way for one breath to down dog. And then drop your knees tabletop. And take a break. Take a little bit of movement here. Whatever wiggle jiggle you need. Is it a little C curve with your body? Is it a cat and cow? Maybe you're still taking a few more breaths in child's pose. What is it that you need right at this moment? We'll just take a breath or two here. So just a short little break. And then come back to tabletop to straighten out that spine in case you were doing some sort of a turning, twisty thing in the spine. You just want to straighten it out for a second before we bring the bum down towards the floor. Come to a sit position. Readjust where you need to be on your mat. And before you come down to your back, if you know that your twists feel better with a prop, you can take them along with you. I know that I like a block for my knees in my twist, so I'm going to have one there. Maybe you have a blanket or a bolster or a pillow. Maybe nothing, you don't need anything, but I know that I like my block. So I always have my blocks with me because I use them. And then I'm going to make my way down to the back, gently and slowly. Then just before we get into our twist, have the feet on the floor and have the knees bent. And we just want to take a breath or two here. Maybe take a little gentle sway of the knees side to side. It can be a little sway or a big sway. Just take off the pressure out of the low back, the glutes, the legs. Because you may have noticed that the previous lunge with the twist that we did, maybe it required you to exert a little bit more energy than you thought. I'm just taking a little bit of a break. And then once you've had sufficient break, I know that I like my block, so I'm going to have it right there on the left. And I'm going to bring my knees in towards my chest. And I'm going to take a little bit of movement here because it feels good on my back. And then with your exhale, drop the knees down to the left. And again, as you're going down towards the floor, do you think a prop underneath those knees would suit you? And your low back, your spine, is going to be telling you that answer. So yes, you want a twist in your spine, but you don't want it so harsh and so difficult that you're getting uncomfortable. You want this twist to feel good, to feel nice. You'd still like to try to have both shoulders as close to the floor as possible. So you don't want to be completely on one side, but the knees are towards one side. The chest trying to face the ceiling. We're going to take about 5 breaths here. So how can you be more comfortable to enjoy those 5 breaths? What hand position suits you right now? As you continue breathing and allowing the spine to enjoy this twist. One more cycle of breath here. So take your full inhale, full exhale. Bring the knees back up towards the sky. And then again, here, notice, do you need a little readjusting? Do you need to maybe shift your body on your mat? Find that comfortable space. Maybe take a breath or two here to allow that spine to absorb the information from the twist that you just did. And then when you think you're ready, draw those knees back into the chest if they have moved away. And again, I know I like my prop, so I have it here on the right side. And use your exhale to drop the knees down to the right. Adjust the legs, adjust the prop to find your comfortable space. So yes, we're in a twist, but we still want to make it comfortable. We don't want it to be painful. We want to move our spine gently so that we create that space. We want to be able to manipulate our spine in all directions. It doesn't just work in one plane, one direction. So if we teach it that it can move in all sorts of ways, in all sorts of directions, your spine will be less likely to complain when you actually go to do an action. So right now, make sure that your low back is comfortable in this twist. Try to aim the chest towards the sky. Find the comfortable hand position that works best for you so that you can sink into a nice, comfortable twist. Notice your breathing. Are you still breathing? Is it a smooth breath? Or did you contort yourself into such a tight space that you can no longer breathe? If you have, make the adjustments so that you can still breathe. Find comfort. Try to soften, ease the body. One more full cycle here in your twist. Gently and slowly bring those knees back up towards the sky. Take your little movement here. What's going to make you feel better? Maybe drawing your knees tighter into your chest is going to feel better. Maybe planting your feet on the floor and swaying your knees side to side is going to make you feel better. What little movement is going to release the spine, release the tension, and then decide what is going to be your resting pose. Is it going to be Shavasana? What modification of Shavasana is it going to be for you? Slowly make your way into that pose, into your shape. What works best for you? Is it a sit position? Are you cold? Do you need a blanket? Do you need something to prop yourself up onto? What is going to make you feel comfortable? You want to finish in a shape that best suits you. We're going to take about 10 breaths here. So in whichever position or pose or modification you've chosen, can you stay for 10 more breaths without fidgeting? Do the best you can to be still, to enjoy that stillness. And I'll guide you back shortly. Without moving just yet, bring your attention back to your breath. Slowly deepen the breath slightly, sipping in a little bit more in that inhale. Letting it go in your exhale. And then gently invite those little movements back into your body. How is it best for you to slowly wake up your body? If you are in your traditional Shavasana on your back, slowly, gently make your way up into a sit. Take your time. Don't jar your body right now. Right now, you should feel pretty mellow. You don't want to jump right up. If you're in a sit position, just hang out there for another second or two. And then once you make your way to your sit position, once again, find comfort. And just notice how your spine feels. Do you feel a little taller? Did it help you? Or did it remind you that you need to take more breaks throughout your day? Move around that spine. And from our sit position, Gently bring your hands to prayer if you are comfortable with that at heart center. We'll take one more breath here to finish our practice. A nice big inhale. And as you exhale, release. We'll finish our practice here, honoring the light within. Namaste. So hopefully your spine feels a little nicer after that little practice. And just remember, those movements are supposed to be gentle for how you're feeling on any particular day, because we want our body to be coaxed into more space. We don't want to try to force it because we won't be happy. Our spine won't be happy. Our movement won't be happy. And I think the purpose of our practice is to be happier. Is it not? There's so many things going on in the world that is out of our control, but I can control what I do on my mat. I can control what I'm doing on any particular practice. So I want to make sure that it's good for me at that moment. Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing or what anybody else is feeling. What do I feel on that particular day? So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until the next video, we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.